Okay, this is our home page of our assignment. We finish how many tasks so far? These many, right? I'm going to create a menu page, and then I have 4 of these things. I have 4 sections. This is something dynamic content that I start to think I need to store these guys somewhere. I'm going to walk you guys through. I introduce something called a model. Rails generate a model. Let's call this a section. If I have a section, I tell you that I store the section to the database. What information do I store here? Anyone? Text? Okay. It's a column, right? So what should I name my column? Section. Yeah, categories is good. So you could name the model category. It's the same thing. But I see section here, so I just say section. Name is a string, right? Yeah. And in Rails, the string column is the default, so I don't need to do that. Anything else do I need to put there? Huh? Section here will be breakfast, lunch, dinner, drink, so there's no price there yet. Huh? Could be, yeah, maybe there's an image, and you can add them later. So I just create the simplest model ever, okay? I create a model called section, and look at the files I have here. And this is when we actually look at the database in Rails. I create a file called a migration file. When you do the lab, I will ask you to do this as well. Go and look at that migration file, and it will create a table in PostgreSQL. There's a database, PostgreSQL database. And there will be a section table, and then you have a name column. Okay? It's still not clear where the PostgreSQL database is, but know that right now I have these new files. It just forget about the test files in here. It's just mainly this file. And one more file, which is the section model in there. That's it. Right. So the concept of a database is that each time you add a new column to a table, or you create a new table, you have to do something called migrating your database. Rails DB migrate. So take your database from the previous status, right, state to the next state. Now if I run that migrate right now, I will get an error. Because? That's right. It will complain something to do with the database. Connection is bad. The database doesn't exist. How does Rails know, what to do with the database? It's in config database.yaml. YAML, YML file, is a configuration file. It's like key and value again, but the key here and then value, there's no parenthesis, it's just only the colon. You guys can start seeing how programmers think, right? JSON file, you have the curly braces stuff. Someone say, I like to use YAML. No curly braces, no semicolon, no comma, nothing except just 2 spaces here, and that's it. Here in our environment, a development environment, it's called an environment on our machine. That's a development environment. When you put the code on Heroku, that's the production environment. Okay. For local environment, there is some local setup that will just use PostgreSQL. There's no password. It uses your username as the database username. It just works if you install PostgreSQL the way I recommended. So this is how Rails does it. We create a database. Okay, this step will be in your lab. So we call create. It will read the database.yaml file. It will create the database name __ development. There is a test database. It always copies the development database so you can test it if you run tests. Remember, you go to IRB, you do list.new, item.new, all of that. You can do all of that on the test database. You write your test later. So I finish. Now I can do migrate. So what is it that you guys see here? Rails space something. These are the tasks. I have one task called create, but I have another task called migrate. So, yeah, so you see a lot of this. Generate is another task. There's just so many of them. So I now migrate. And check this out. It runs the class, the Ruby file in your DB folder. It runs this file. You see this class create section. It migrate, it means it goes up, it moves from before having the table sections to now it has the table sections. And you see a new file here called a schema. This schema file is auto-generated and it contains the current database information. It helps you. It is just a Ruby file. It looks like this. So when you hear the word schema, then we talk about, oh, what database and what columns. So we have one thing so far. It's a section database. In the section database, there's a column called what? Table. What name? There are two automatic columns like this. Okay? So what is a table? I have to explain this table thing, like maybe I could use Excel, but I'm just gonna temporarily use this thing called, let's say a table look like this. You draw a table like this, okay, right? And then in here I have a table called, this is my section table. And then here is my name, section name. Each time I add a new record, I add now, it's like a header, right? Then each time I add a new record, so this is breakfast. That is row, the first row, that's called a row. And then the second one will be lunch. Oh my God. You did not help me. Those who did not discover it, actually is falling asleep, right? Normally you have more than one column. So you have an ID column as well. And then you start adding like, okay, the first one has an ID 1, the second one has an ID 2, and so on. These are the columns. Now,
so this is like the list of lists, right? Because then when we have like the list of breakfasts,
you have only one row that say breakfast.
Yeah, but then next when I have like breakfast items.
Yeah, so then that will be another column, and that will point to this guy.
Okay.
I will have a section ID. We will get there. We have actually a few more. Here, Rails give you created at and updated at. This is just automatic. But you can start imagining it just get filled out, and this is our first table. All right. So this is like your time.now pretty much. Right. This is like time.now. If I write it this way, it may be easier to understand. So that's the idea. I'm going to start creating this first, and you guys will see how it fits in the picture. I have a database now, and I'm going to run IRB. But this IRB is loading the entire Rails application inside. Okay? Your previous IRB, you use IRB tools to have colors. This one, I don't want IRB tools really. Rails comes with colors itself. So no need. So I can ignore this error. Yeah? If you don't have IRB tools, don't worry about it. So then, check this out. The model is called section. So this is a section class. Do we have the section class up there? Right? But you don't see anything in there. So right now the database is not even loaded yet. Rails is smart. It's like, I don't need to look at the database yet. But let's say you want to find the first section. I want to find this breakfast row. Okay? So I say, I want to find the first one. So it's just similar to the array one. But so this is what it does. It say, hey, look into this table sections. And this is the table section, right? Load all the columns. You don't have to memorize this line, by the way. It's just explaining so you can see it. Load all the columns. Star here is like, name, ID, created at, updated, that. Well, because I get the first one, so let's order them. Let's get the one with the smallest ID. Let's get the first one, this one. Hey, but I have no data. That's why you have nil, nothing. So you do this a lot. You might want to get the first section out. You want to practice something with it. But I don't have anything. So let me introduce you to a different method. Section.new, right? And something interesting come up. Do you guys see, oh, ID, name, created at, updated at. So I'm going to name this my A. Okay? Now A, now I can set it as a name, so that's my breakfast. And Rails, actually I don't know why there's no colors here, that's weird. There should be colors. Well, I guess not. There's colors here, that's nice. It's very useful, show you whenever you need to hit the database. Rails provides you Ruby interface to talk to the database, so you don't have to learn how to write these lines. Okay? It's important to learn eventually, but for now you don't have to. So I have A. What else do I need to set here? That's enough, right? Yeah? So then I do A dot save. And this is what happens. It will insert this as a row. The syntax is a bit weird. 1, 2, 3, it means like, okay, the first is the name. Name will go into name. Created at, it get time.now. This go into created at. And updated at, this go into updated at. So these two columns are always automatic. But now, check out my A. I have an ID. I have a name. And then, etc. So now if you do section.first, what do you get? Same thing as A. Alright, so I get it. So technically I can create the second one. And you see this is an initialize method, right? In a class, you can have arguments in there. You pass in a hash. So name is lunch. Right? Same deal. It creates a new one, but it's not safe, right? So you could give it, or you can just assign it to somewhere. We just call it save here. Okay? So I have the second guy. So I have two, it looks like this now, right? Let's look at the third one. People do this often enough. So there's another method called create. Create is going new and save at the same time. So I want the third one. I should call it dinner. So I have the third one. Yeah? So I have three guys now. Maybe I can print them. Section.first. Alright, so that's good. I get the first one. How do I get the last one? That's dinner. But normally, how do you get these guys out? You get them by this column. The easiest one. It's like looking into the dictionary. If I need to find the word love, I look at the word L and then find that page, right? So the ID here tells you where to go. So it means, how do I get lunch? Thank you very much. Find 2. So you find 2, you get lunch. Find 1, you get first, and then you get find 3, you get dinner. Pretty good, right? How do you get all the sections? It's all English now. Ian, you want to give it a try? Huh? find all was in Rails 1 point something. They had find underscore all, but now it's, in fact, it probably this still work, but this is all. So when you do this, check it out. It will select all the sections, right? You see that? And here you get the sections loaded here. It may look a bit scary, but you can practice looking at these things. It's not too bad. Yeah? Are we okay so far? That's pretty exciting because it's all stored somewhere. It's there for you. It doesn't go away. Unlike your to-do.md file. Yeah?
About the top, like section.rb, when was that generated? Like which step?
When you do Rails generate model section.
Okay.
Remember we wrote that? Rails generate model section name? It created a section.rb
Oh,
file.
section is just what we use instead of the menu.
Right, right. This is your menu category.
Yeah, category.
In the future, you do this all the time. Rails generate model user. Rails generate model food item. Okay. Huh? Yes, this is the model name. The table name is it's in plural. There's an S and it's small case. In fact, Rails it goes pretty crazy, but you don't have to remember this one. But let's say this table name. It actually tells you what table name it is. Pretty neat. It keeps track of all of that. So I have 3 sections now. I can probably go to the controller and the view and display my things as I wanted. Back to reality. If I click on menu, let's make this page work. All right. Okay, fine. I will here. I will keep it at home controller. Let's just keep it here. Home controller. All right, here. Okay, it's in menu. So where does it go, guys? Do you remember?
Index.
Routes here. Home menu.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't like I like my home page to be super simple. So I'll just change this to go to menu, index, and then actually now I need to Rails generate controller menu action index. All right. One more time. If you have a good habit, name the class like that. And I don't need this menu index. I delete that line. We good? So we go to menu controller. And here I can get my sections. And who here can guess what I do with that? Dot all. Right? Let's go to the view. I already have the view generated menu / index.html here. And I'm here, I'm going to display here's my menu. And for now, I'm going to make it very simple. Sections.each do section. And then I do an end here. And normally you start out, probably this seems like a reasonable thing to do. Make them bullets. Dot name. Right? That looks reasonable. All right. Oh my God, this gem is really, this extension is really broken. Sorry about that. So I click menu here, it go to that, and I have breakfast, lunch, dinner. So that is powerful. I have one more item I want to add. Then I have this as section.create. Now that I'm used to it, I can do one more. The name is, let's say supper, right? And then load over here. That is cool. That is now we have model view controller all through, right?
So working in the IRB for this, I guess Rails will actually save for us.
Right. Everything is sharing the data in one place. For the first time that you guys are working now, the data is completely separated from the code. All the code that you push to GitHub has 0 data in it. Your data is saved in your database somewhere else. So your code can go to the production server and it can use different code. You can pull my code It doesn't have the thing I just created. You can have your own. Okay. Last time you make changes to your MD file, you have to commit them, and it all just, it's all just together in one place. So that is interesting, but we have to see how it is powerful. Imagine I foolishly want to do this again. What do you think will happen?
It's recreated.
Right. So we'll recreate it, and then it will look like this, and I will look stupid. Right?
Go back and edit the thing later.
So you can say, hey, section.last, delete, destroy. So this is a delete thing that you don't have to learn. You all have to remember for any object, you can call destroy, right? So it's cool that call destroy will just find that ID. So it find it and then it destroy. Destroy all. You can go delete all. Come again?
Like just create a database and create a model, right? Generate model.
Uh-huh. Database is only created once. And then table is only created once. Yeah?
I noticed that in the bit, when you get the grade, there's about 5 files that has changed.
Uh-huh.
So if you want to delete a table, I should delete all.
No. If you want to delete a table, it's more complicated because
In the schema file.
it's in the schema file. To delete a table, the best way, when you are really new, you can delete this file, but you should delete your entire database and then you migrate again. When you know a little bit more, you can go into this and say, hey, undo this migration. This migration, add one column, just undo it, it will remove that column. I will show you how later. Okay? So far, we learned this thing called model. And this model section is quite powerful. You learn how to do, how many of them are there, how to load them as an array, how to find the first one, the last one, how to find a specific ID, right? Let's learn very quickly a few things. How to destroy them too. If I accidentally just do this, oh look, I have a new ID, and I have I have a name thing there, and then over here I load and you have an extra thing down here. That's not good, right? You want to have some protection. And this is why, another reason why Rails is pretty awesome, because it gives you the convention to do it. So you say, hey, validates, check, right? Name, presence is true. So then if you do this one more time, by the way, you also have this reload command. No need to exit and enter again, just call reload. So let's try again. Create. It tried to create the database, the rows in the table in the database, and then roll back because it's not valid. So then now it's nil. So you cannot do that anymore. Yeah? So that is useful. What if I want to create, so by the way, this is still invalid. So let's just delete it.
Sorry, I missed that.
Yeah.
What did you? Presence true. That was the difference, yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay,
presence
got it.
true. Now look, I have the last one. It was bad, right? Let's just delete it. Okay. Now I go back here. It's good. But what if I do create name breakfast one more time? What do you want to happen? You also want this to fail. So you don't want this ID to show. It's just nil. It means you want it to roll back, just like up here. Then you say up here, validate, uniqueness is true. Reload. I'm gonna delete the last one because that's a breakfast one. I deleted. Let's test. I still only have 4, but now I try to create breakfast. It will check whether there is already a row with this name, and then it will just roll back, and again you cannot create it. To check whether something can be created, you can just look at the ID here, it's nil.
looks like we had ID 7 at the last one, even though we only have 4 or 5 items. Do the IDs stay?
The ID will be gone. So you only have 4 items, and you have all these guys now, but you can see the ID is 1, 2, 3, 4. If you create a new good one, the ID will be 8.
Okay, so it keeps count of how many tries and attempts you've made, but it actually.
Well, the ID, every time you create it, it just internally, it just increase. It's just like your ID here is the same thing as your, passport number or any, your personal identification number. When you create it, it just increase it, your license plate for your car, and it just go to the next one. You actually don't reuse any. So license plate you do reuse if you pay a lot of money. Yeah?
Until it finds a good one, then it saves that one as
Right.
the last attempt.
Right. So internally, Ruby or a lot of databases, this is the simplest way. The simplest way. The ID here is just increased by 1 each time. But now, you may not know, you create a lot of times, you come back to this app, you only have 4 items, but you create a new item, ID might be 1,000. That's because you already deleted a lot. That's fine. Right?
So you can't always rely on like
To use
searching for
unique.
ID.
So you can always say, okay, that was ID, this user had this section ID 10, section.find 10. If you cannot find it, you can tell the user, sorry, your account is gone. You never, you sort of never give that 10 to someone else. So you can always check in your code. All right? So this is the section. Let me wrap it up by displaying it in a nice way. And back to front end again. So this is something that we call, oh, this is so nice. We finished for lunch. Button, for example, here I can say button group. Let's see if it looks fine. Oh, this is okay, right? If I click here, I have breakfast, lunch, dinner. That could be okay. Another option is navs, maybe. Oh, it's like this, nav link. It looks fine. It doesn't look very attractive. These are just links. Yeah, it looks like this. You can actually have it like breakfast, lunch, dinner, like this. Okay? So these are, you see as class names, this is not bad. This looks presentable. Maybe I can use this. Let's use this, right? So I copy this guy. And I go into my code. I keep this up. This is pretty good, right?
Yes.
I go into sections all, that's good. I even go into the index. This is where I display stuff. All right. This is your previous code. This is the bootstrap way. Let's bring them together. Copy bootstrap. First step, go to the browser. Make sure it looks good. That's the first step. Second step, remove as much as you can. So you do understand, oh, this active class here cause this color to show up. There's no active class, cause this to be a normal link. All right, and then there's a disabled link. I don't care about disabled links, so here, no problem, delete. These guys are the same. I can probably repeat with my each. Delete, delete, delete. And this is pretty much the only thing I care about. And then so in here, I take my sections, and bring this in. I take my n, I put it here. Okay? And then in here, href, I actually don't know where to go yet. But at least I know instead of the word active, I should put in section.name. So it means I finish with all these guys down here. Right? Now, when is it active? I still don't know. So if I finish right now, everything will be active. Right? So let's delete the active word. I will somehow have the active word later here.
Can we do params?
Yeah, exactly. We have to do params. Params. So how do we do this params thing? So I'm going to look at this guy. I will display the string active. Now I can use a single quote here. I just don't want it to be too confusing with too many double quote, right? So single works the same way. So I say I do this if params current, maybe section, maybe. Yeah, maybe I call this a section name or section ID. One of these. You want to check by section name is okay, huh? So we just call section equal what? If some guy is giving me the param that is the same as my current section, do you guys see this guy? Then should I put it here? This is the very simple if statement. If this is false, you don't get anything. If this is true, you get the string back. And this is very common for you to create a conditional class. Okay? So when you do this, I save this. I still don't know, go anywhere. Huh? But let's check it out. This guy, menu. Oh, crap. Oh, I took away the section. This is great. It cures sleepiness. All right. If I do up here, section equal breakfast. What do you guys think? Damn it, it's still not working. Why?
We didn't actually create
You're not comparing section, you're comparing with section, not name. Right? And you guys, this one is awesome. Oh, that was awesome. This is awesome. Now, it means I'm going to go somewhere here. And I'm going to convert, look at these 3 lines. Ugly. Let's do the link to way. Link to section.name. Okay. Class. Alright, I have navlink as always. And then now I have to switch to the Ruby way. It's the same, right? The Ruby way will be here is active if params section equals section.name. Oh my god, it's getting long. Anything else? That's it, really. That's it. Right? Oh, I need the URL.
Yeah, the URL.
This is the href. I need to URL. I'm going to go back to this current page. What is this page? Menu, path. But I'm going to pass in the section to be my section.name. Okay? Now, if this line looks really long to you, just know that this parenthesis works. So you could probably enter like this, and then you close parenthesis down there, yeah? Just a method there. All right, let's run. Menu, quick breakfast, lunch, dinner, supper. That's pretty good, right? And now we down here we can display only the guys that has that only the food items, the menu dishes that belong to this guy, right? But you know how to apply Bootstrap components and then use it with your dynamic data. Components help us write code without trying to style in so many ways. In mobile development, there's like a slider component. There's there's very few components really. It's hard to. That's why building a mobile app sometimes is a nicer experience. The web, people do it like, how many ways do you style a div? People do it in too many different ways. So choosing Bootstrap is one of the ways to say, hey, you like a button component? They should always look like this. You like the navbar component? It should look like this. Okay. Of course, it still can look different if you style all the buttons to be a different color, to have border or not. But the concept is that please don't have too many, button classes for components. Very clear. There's only a few. Where is the Bootstrap example page that explain this better than I can? This sucks. If you go to any other like CSS framework, you can actually see it very well. Think about components. Like these are the components: forms component, buttons, tables. So these guys say, hey, look, if you use buttons, only use these, like this is a normal component, this is a disable button component, and then active, primary, right? Different colors, that's it. When it's dangerous, when it's an error, when it's success, it's this, warning is this, normal. Same thing with table menu. So we learn with Bootstrap for now, but feel free to expand your app to change it to use something else. Input text, they most of the time they always look like this. Don't try to style. Sometimes they have this background color. Sometimes they have border or not. We try to make the app consistent. Back to our app. I think we did finish though, and then we can break for lunch, which is this guy. User can navigate to menu page with 4 sections. So I finish, right? The next one here is it's going to be, we can continue that with that tomorrow. But with what we've learned so far, you guys will be able to do the app, do the today's lab. Okay? Thank you.